Guys, hello everybody, how's it going? Choxy here. I know it's been a long time since my first video on the Reaper stuff, but now I have time and I'm not sick either, so yeah, a lot of things are happening with me lately. And I've been really busy at work too, but on top of, besides all that, now we can go ahead and go into our Reaper skills today. We're going to go over the Greatsword skills and the shouts that we're oh so excited to talk about. So yeah, we'll just delve into it in just a little bit. Oh, and one little thing I wanted to go over is that Ain't wanted to make the Greatsword on Necro a little bit on a slower side. I don't blame him because some of the skills are very strong and very cool. But things like our auto attack is a little slower. I will go over that in a bit, and then just overall the skills might feel a little slow, but they are very powerful in a sense. It can definitely it really has some synergy with like our traits, and then with some other skills too, we can pull us some nice wombo combos. But yes, that's something to keep in mind, that our Greatsword skills aren't going to be as fast as a Guardian or a Warrior, but it'll still do the job. But you just have to kind of, you know, get the feel for it, that's for sure, when the Greatsword releases for Necro. Alright guys, so first up we have our Greatsword auto attacks. It's going to be Dusk Strike, Fading Twilight, and Chilling Scythe. I don't know why they keep giving names to each auto attack, but it's Ain't game. They can do whatever they want with it. But as you can see, we finally got a 3-target cleave. I am excited. Now we can start doing some dungeons, and you know, instead of hitting 2 things with the dagger, we can hit like 3 things, and it's going to be awesome, that's for sure. But as you can see, it's going to be a 3-target cleave, 3-target cleave, and then it's going to be a higher damage third hit. And also, as you can see, we get chill now. And I don't think the numbers are final, but you know, 4 seconds to chill, that's pretty crazy. But this is where Ain't wanted to kind of not really nerf, but they wanted to adjust the attack speed of our attacks. As you can see, the third hit takes a whole second to actually, you know, go off. A lot of the other classes, usually their third auto attack is like half. Like I think Warrior and Guardian, their auto attacks are just straight up half a second each. So as you can see, our first 2 auto attacks are a quarter second slower, and then the third hit is double the time it takes for the third hit to hit. So, but this is to balance it out, because I think Warrior on their third hit they get Vuln, or just does more damage. Don't quote me on this. Actually, let me look at it real quick. Yeah, it just does a little more damage for Warrior, and for Guardian you just get Might. We get Chill. This is gonna be our opportunity to actually stick to the target and, you know, keep the pressure up, because don't forget that, you know, Chill reduces movement speed and it reduces recharge cooldown. So let's say you're hitting this enemy and he's really low and he's like really spamming his heal button. It's like, oh my god, let me get my heal off. He has to wait maybe like a second or 2 or even more longer, because we're just constantly pressuring him with Chill, and it's gonna be pretty sweet how it plays out in the end. But that's where Ain't wanted to balance it, because Chill is very strong, and it's gonna help us stick to the target. So this is our opportunity to actually apply decent auto attack pressure on enemies, that's for sure. Oh, also don't forget, this kind of ties in with our other traits, like the damage on Chill trait. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool, right? You know, Death and Chill. So it's gonna add more DPS to our yeah, DPS to our kit. Alright, so next up is gonna be this is gonna be our most used skill, or one of my favorite skills. It's definitely gonna be our bread and butter, Gravedigger. So what Gravedigger does is it performs a huge swing that deals heavy damage, recharges faster if it hits a down or low health foe. So as you can see, the damage is pretty high baseline, but don't forget to look at the cast time. It's about a second and a quarter. This is comparable to the Hammer Guardian, the third hit, the one where he's just like swing and it's like about a quarter second as well. So it's a little on the slow slide, but this is gonna be our 5-target cleave, comparable to like Whirling Wrath and maybe Hunter Blade. But this is also it has a unique aspect to it, where if the enemy is below 50% health, or if you hit a down foe, it recharges the cooldown immediately. So you can technically constantly spam this in like a dungeon, maybe if you're hitting like a low health boss or just a group of mobs, or even a War for Sport. If you just use this in the middle of the group and one of them are under 50% health, you can just keep spinning to win. It's crazy. And on top of this is a trait that kind of ties into this. It's gonna be the reduced recharge Greatsword. What was it called again? Soul Eater. So, you know, where Greatsword attacks steal health, when Grave Digger hits a foe, all other Greatsword skills recharge by a small amount. So, as you can see, it's 3%, but I don't know if they had mentioned that if it hits per target, so if you hit 5 things, it reduces your cooldowns by 15%. But that's gonna be pretty sweet. I know 8 is kind of playing with this like recharge cooldown thing, just like the axe trait that we're getting as well. But this will kind of help keep our other skills up, you know, our uptime a little better. So overall, Gravedigger is gonna be pretty sweet. The animation is pretty freaking awesome as well, you have to admit. Also, it's a whirl, so if you use this in a dark field, not only can you just apply like the leeching bolts like on a constant rate, you can also heal up. So overall, this just one skill alone is already giving me pretty like chicken skin right now. It's gonna be really strong and very awesome in both PvE and PvP. Oh, in War vs. World maybe. PvP not so much, unless you're in a group fight. But still, if you're just attacking one person, they're really low. You know, this would be on par with like another kind of executioner kind of trait slash skill. That's for sure. And next we have Death Spiral. So this skill basically, it does like a little drill thing. It's fairly close range. It's the same thing as your auto attack range, but it does a drill of 6 hits, and it basically rends the armor of your foes in front of you, basically giving them vulnerability. But as you can see, the numbers, it does say 12, but it's basically 2 stacks of vuln per hit. But the chunk of like the hits actually go, it activates pretty quickly. So unless they have like a dodge or something, they'll avoid everything. But the drill actually drills each hit pretty fast as well. It does hit 3 targets. That's pretty nice. It kind of ties into more of our mobby skills. But this actually ties in really well. Like I said, a lot of trait synergy here. It kind of ties in with Decimate Defenses, where you get 2% crit per vuln. If you land this on someone, that's 12 stacks of vuln. And then if you hit, if you look at that, you get 24% crit right there. You get 24% crit chance immediately when you hit this skill. So there's nothing much else to say about it, but the vuln stack is gonna be pretty sweet. It does last for a considerable amount of time as well. But it kind of oh, and also it gives life force. I didn't mention earlier. It does give life force per hit, so you get 12% life force if you can land this as well. Pretty nice. It keeps up our sustain, because with the other you know, weapon skills like staff 1, axe 2, dagger auto attack. These things are life force generators, so they have to give one to the Greatsword, and this is what our life force generator is. 12% isn't bad on a 10-second cooldown. It's pretty sweet actually. But yes, this is gonna be really nice. This might actually kind of wombo combo with Reaper's Grasp, which we'll talk to earlier later, which is our Greatsword 5, which pulls enemies in and then you drill them, and it's like boom! Look at all that! Look at all that life force and vuln. So this is a pretty nice addition to our Greatsword kit, that's for sure. Alright guys, so next up is going to be one more fancy skill. It's going to be Nightfall. Call down a growing column of shadows that damages foes when the shadows fully form. You blind foes in the, I mean, you pretty much blind people in the area. But this is going to be a little bit of a fancy skill. It does kind of call down this really cool shower of darkness, but when it actually forms, it's gonna blind foes. It's kind of like the Mesmer Greatsword 3. You can't use it while moving. Like, you'll be rooted for a bit when you actually try to call them down, when compared to when Mesmer stab the floor. But this is going to be also a dark field, so we can use this to whirl, and you know, you get the leeching bolts. So this would be really good combo with Gravedigger. But what I liked about this is that this actually combines with a lot of other traits, like Chilling Darkness. Right? Chilling Darkness, which lets you chill foes when you blind them. And then you have, what was it again? The vulnerable chill. What was it called? Bitter chill. When you do chill, it does vulnerability. So this trait in itself activates like 2-3 traits. It's crazy. And then also procs friggin' deathly chill. It's so much synergy is here with this trait. That's why I'm so excited, because you can like pick this, piece them together, and there's just so much things you can do with it all together. But overall, the skill is very self-explanatory. It does pulse. I don't know if it pulses blind per tick. That would be very cool. It'll be like, you know, the damn we're getting smoke shot by a thief. But I don't think it'll pulse. But if it did, that would be awesome. If it doesn't, too bad. But like I said, this really synergizes with a lot of traits and our other skills. So I'm very very excited for this skill alone. It's gonna be very hyped to actually, you know, land this and you get chill, phone damage on chill, and then you whirl that crap for the life leech and the damage. But this is gonna be a really sweet skill, that's for sure. And last up with our Greatsword skills, we have Reaper's Grasp. This is going to toss a spectral sight that foes in front of you, applying a condition to them, which is poison, and pulling them to you. Gain life force for each struck foe. So, as you can see, this is another life force generator, which is really neat. Not most of the other, well, actually, I don't think any of the other two-handed skills, except for if you're running like a Warhorn on your offhand, that's another life force generator. But this is, you get 2 life force generators from your 1 weapon set. It's really neat, and this you get 4% per target hit. You can get up to 5 targets. If you pull 5 targets, that's 20% life force right there. And then if you drill them with Death Spiral, even though it hits only 3, I don't know if it's going to be per target, but that could potentially be up to 36% life force. In total, with that wombo combo, that's like 56% life force. If I did my math right. Right there in this one little combo. But Reaper's Grasp is kind of like the poor man's Spectral Grass. It does look like it kind of travels along the floor, so I don't know if terrain's gonna be a problem. It doesn't look like I'm gonna be jumping off any cliffs or anything either, unless it does not, if it does ignore terrain. But also the range is a little lower, it's only 600. But it being a great sword skill, and seeing how strong it is, we don't need any kind of like 1200 range attack, because most of the other classes have some kind of like 1200 or like 900 plus range attack. Warriors have, you know, rest to close the gap. Guardians have their leap to kind of close the gap. Us, not so much. We have to kind of like stick to them and keep the pressure on with the chill and pulling them to us. So this, all in all, it's a fairly close range Greatsword skill, but considering how slow it is and how strong the effects are to it, this is kind of, you know, I don't mind it too much. Ain't it did the right thing with doing this. But yes, so Reaper's Grasp is going to help us, you know, kind of get that group in there and just gotta get them all with poison. It's just, I can't even accentuate how excited I am for this. But all in all, as a whole, with the Greatsword skills, like I said, a little bit on the slow side, very strong payoff for actually landing the skills, and you have a lot of synergy with each other with the skills. So like, you know, you pull them to you, Death Spiral for the Vone, Gravedigger if they're already low, you Gravedigger again. So it's gonna be really sweet. Also with the Nightfall, the Blind, the Chill, the damage. Oh, this is so much things I'm so excited about. But that's gonna wrap it up for the Greatsword skills, guys. Now let's go and move on to the shouts. Nope, and one thing I did want to mention before I go into these traits as well is that, of course, it being a shout, you would think they'd be instant, but seeing how they have a lot of like utility, how they have a lot of things tied into it, they do have cast time, so they can be interrupted and they can be counterplayed in a sense. You can see it coming in, and you know, because the enemy has to see it coming before, so they can dodge and stuff. And if it was an instant damage skill, that would be pretty crazy. But that's just how Ain't tend to balance these shouts out, by giving them a cast time. That's all. So now we're moving into our shouts that we're going to be getting. I'm not gonna lie, I looked at these shouts and I was a little underwhelmed. As much as I'm excited for the other parts of the Reaper and other parts of specialization, I just looked at it and I was like, this is okay at best. I mean, there are some very amazing things, there are some very unamazing things, but so let's just go right into it. First up, we're gonna have Your Soul Is Mine. This is gonna be our heal replacement for our heal. As you can see, it heals yourself and strike foes around you, absorbing life force for each foe struck. The base healing is pretty low, you know, apart from our usual like 5 point something, but they wanted to balance it up because it does do damage and it does generate life force. But all in all, you have to admit, Consume Conditions is just such a strong heal. It's such a good heal. I believe it's gotta be top 3 heal, if not, you know, number 1 in the heal, because it literally resets your condition. Like, it kind of resets a fight, if you have a lot of conditions on you anyways, and it's just so good. I can't accentuate how good Consume Conditions is. It's one of the best heals in the game, and you get, you know, more heals per condition. So if someone bombs you with con, he's like, oh, yum yum yum. It's crazy. But this heal, I don't know. You do get life force off of it, but considering the other life force generation you already have with things like your new Greatsword skills and whatnot, I don't know. I'm not too crazy about it. But this might be nice with the shout trait. If you do plan on running it, I don't plan on running it, but you get, 7% per foe hit. So if you do this in a group, that's 35%. 35% of 20 seconds is about 8 seconds off. So you can get your heal off, quite consistently. That's for sure. But all in all, unless you're running that trait, I don't see too much value in it. I'd rather use consume conditions, to be honest, just to shrug off all this conditions and eat them all up. But that's just my opinion on it. Alright, so next up it's You Are All Weaklings. This shout damages foes around you, inflicting conditions, which is weakness, on them and giving you boons, which is 4 stacks of might per foe struck. So this is one of the more better, I want to say, better shouts out there, considering that also it's a stun break. I know it doesn't say there, but it is a stun break, as Ainit did want to mention earlier. If you are in a group of 5 people, you can inflict weakness to all of them. Weakness is still a very strong condition, still very underrated, considering that it reduces their endurance regeneration, and they fumble most of their hits, so you're taking a lot less damage overall. It's like F you backstab thieves, and you get 4 stacks of might per foe hit. So in total, like if you're in a group of 5 people, you're inflicting weakness, you're reducing their damage, that they're giving to you, but you get 4 stacks of might per foe struck. So that's about 20 stacks of might. If you are in that group, if you do happen to get them in a nice tight spot, and you pull like a grave digger, that you can just imagine the DPS that can happen right then and there. And if they're already low, you can grave digger again. It's gonna be a nice trait. I mean, or a nice shout to be running, definitely, if you want to run like a very DPS-y or group oriented build, because this is gonna be very, very valuable in that regard. But yes, I think it's going to be a pretty strong trait. Also, if you have the trait reduction, it goes down to maybe like, I don't know, 15 seconds. So you can get this off quite often. Alright, so next up it's going to be one of the more underwhelming ones, Rise. I don't know, it's a 40-second cooldown, a 1.5 second cast time, and you just do the same damage as all your other shouts except for the elite, and it summons a Jagged Horror. You guys already know what Jagged Horrors are. They're the ones that take like one hit and they die. They're not very smart. They're pretty stupid, to be honest. But the only reason why I see someone would be running this is maybe if you run like a mini master build and seeing how minions are a little more, they're getting somewhat of a buff, but the AI we still don't know where that stands. But getting your Jagged Horrors up again might help you proc things like the boon removal, the Kandi transfer, the Kandi receive transfers traits, and it's overall I only see it using in the mini master build. I do appreciate Ain't It giving this to that girl so people can play mini master, but honestly it could use something else. Maybe if it was like 5 flesh golems, holy crap, that would be crazy. But no, that's not 5 flesh golems, sadly. Alright, so next is going to be our Suffer. So this is going to be kind of like our Kandi cleanse. Damage foes around you and chill them. Transfer conditions to each foe you strike. So, consider that if you're only fighting one person, this is where I think is I kind of want to like bring out to light, is that if you're only fighting one person, you really don't get a lot of benefit off of your skills. These shouts right here are really oriented around group play, which I don't mind, but sometimes if I want to run it by myself, I would like some more baseline, I want to say, some more baseline traits or some baseline stats, kind of like how I mentioned that with the shout trait, where it reduces reduces your cooldowns per target hit. I think it would be best if it had like a bigger baseline, so solo rovers or small, like if it's like 1v2, benefit from it, rather than putting your face in a big group of 5 people and then probably getting decimated anyways and getting focused down by everything. This will help. This will kind of give more build diversity to people who want to run it when solo. Because consider this trait only transfers one condition to a target, so if you're fighting one person, you can transfer that, like, one stack of vulnerability to the guy, and you still have like 4 more things on top of you. I don't know, it's kind of underwhelming, I want to say. It's definitely not going to be any kind of roamer kits unless you are doing small group roaming. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this chill. I mean, this skill, it does synergize with like the damage on chill and maybe get the damage reduction when you get hit by a chilled target. But overall, I really hope it kind of adjusts things around a bit. Because right now all the shouts are kind of more oriented through group play, and sometimes some things gotta be more a little more versatile, I want to say. So next up we have our last actual shout before the elite. It's gonna be damage foes around you, or nothing can save you. Damage foes around you, converting their boons into vulnerability. Your attacks become unblockable for a short time. The duration increases based on the number of foes struck. So again, here we go. It depends on how much foes you hit to kind of get the most out of your shout or the most out of your skill, which I don't know. And considering the base duration is only 4 seconds, it feels a little underwhelming. I think maybe the base should be raised a little more, and then maybe the duration per target hit can stay like that. But 4 seconds for like a 1v1 is kind of not very great. But I do like the boon conversion, but it doesn't convert the boon to, you know, as like a regular convert. It converts the boon to only vulnerability. So let's say the foe has like protection and, you know, might on them. You can convert those two things into vulnerability. They get 10 stacks of vuln, and then now you instantly get 20% percent crit, and then your attacks are unblockable. So if they're like, oh crap, my boons are gone, block, and then you're like, haha, and you can just keep hitting them with that 20% crit rate. So I think it's gonna be it's nice. I like the kind of synergy it has in itself and with other traits. But like I said again, the base, like having it in a 1v1 is probably unreliable. These shouts are I just can't say too much about it. I like it, but I want to like it more because, you know, coming from a roamer standpoint, it's not that in a 1v1 situation it's not going to be too great. It could potentially, you know, turn the tide of a battle if the guy's like a, you know, blocking warrior or guardian, and it's like you just keep shanking them. But not everyone has blocks either, so you have to give it that too as well. So next up we have our elite skill. This one is actually pretty awesome. Chill to the bone. Freeze all enemies around you. Gain resistance for each foe you freeze. There that goes again. And you can stun them for 2 seconds. This thing is crazy. Look at the damage. The damage is comparable to like Gravedigger. And you get a 12-second chill. I mean, this could be with, you know, boon duration or condition duration, but even if it is 10 seconds, it's a lot of chill on 5 targets, and you stun off all 5 targets for 2 seconds. 2 whole seconds. That's a long time. And you get resistance. So any, like, you can use it as like an oh shit button, I want to say. If you have a whole bunch of conditions on you, you can put this on in the group, and all those conditions don't do a single thing to you, which is really great. Especially in like a Zerg, you stun them, and then you get all these condies on you, and you just like, ha ha ha, what are these condies doing? And it kind of runs down the conditions too. So if you hit all 5, you get 10 seconds of resistance. And if you have a lot of conditions on you already, usually they don't last more than 10 seconds anyways. You can pretty much shrug off all those condies without even getting, you know, affected by them. So this elite is pretty dang cool. It was kind of weird giving us resistance though, considering we're, you know, Necros, we're supposed to eat the conditions and things like that. But we're kind of shrugging them off with this. But I do like this trait. If you run the shout reduction trait, you do get quite a considerable reduction time off of it. It's like almost 40 seconds off of this thing. So it might be great in Zergs. But overall, looking at the shouts as a whole, some of them great, some of them not so great, some of them poop tier. But I'm still kind of I'm not digging the whole perfo struck with a pretty low baseline, because, you know, I kind of want to use these in some roaming builds, but if it's gonna remain this way, I don't know if I'm gonna be using them or not. That's all. Alright guys, so just going over what we just explained. The Greatsword skills are really cool. Slower cast times than most Greatsword skills, but I really do like where the Greatsword skills went. I'm very hyped to use it, and I can't wait to use it on a Reaper, that's for sure. And talking about the shouts, I really want Aina to look over the whole, you know, perfo struck thing. I really want a nice baseline thing so it can be viable with solo roaming or solo play, and I want it to, you know, kind of change up a little bit. Some of the shouts underwhelming like Rise, unless you're a Minimancer. But overall, I'm still liking where they went with these. I didn't expect these kinds of things to be coming out first, so I can't say too much about it. I'm not the devs or anything, but I really do hope they at least change that one aspect about the shouts, that's for sure. But anyways guys, that's gonna be it for me today. I will try and upload another video tomorrow, which is gonna go over builds. If not, I'm going to be uploading some other stuff, but my next video will definitely be about builds, because there's a lot of things that kind of connect with each other and kind of synergize with each other. I'm not going to worry too much about numbers when I do these builds. I'm going to be worrying more about the utility and what these traits and skill builds would actually kind of you know, bring to the table, I want to say. So other than that guys, I'm going to be out of here. I will see you guys later, and you guys have a good one. Peace.